Hi, you guys. We did it. We totally did it. So I finished the Reader's Digest. And to be really honest, this was really fun doing that series. I really, really enjoyed doing it. And I learned a lot about kind of like how I present information and stuff. And, maybe some ways that I can improve that. Not necessarily based on anything someone said or anything. You guys all give great feedback and stuff, and I appreciate it. But just to kind of make things more understandable, and maybe some details that I should have added that maybe I didn't, like measurements and things like that. So I'm not the best tutorialist. Anyway, so yeah, so I got these all done. I wound up with 16 of the Reader's Digest journals. Anyway, so here we go. Let's do a flip through and see how they turned out. Okay. If you watched the series of, let's make some journals together, then I think there was 12 installments, I guess. Then you kind of see how they went together. There are some things that I did sort of after the end of the last video that, just little details and stuff. So, but those are things that anybody would want to do in their own journals anyway, so it's not really important. But we'll talk about what's in these. So, all right, so the covers. First of all, some of the covers did not hold up well. The spines did not hold up well, so I wound up replacing them or fixing them or something. And those ones I actually covered with fabric. So this is some vintage feed sack fabric that that I've had in my stash, and so that's pretty cool. And it was kind of fun trying to find fabrics that went with the patterns on the covers. And then the ones where I covered the spines with fabric, I knotted the signatures on the outside. So you can add charms and that kind of stuff onto this if you want. If not, just trim it off, it's, cotton twine. Well, it's waxed cotton thread. So it's pretty tight. Like those knots are not going to come loose. So, you could, what I'm trying to say is you can trim those pretty close. So anyway, and then I did the charms. So I had done a live stream one night where I was asking for feedback on these. And so what I wound up doing was sort of the quickest way to do these. Since I had to make so many, I sort of wanted to make them quickly. And so I wound up with a clasp. So you can move this to something else if you want to. You can hang it from your jacket or your purse or, another book or whatever. So I just took a bunch of stuff that I've had hanging around, puzzle pieces, some number charms, game pieces. These are from Boggle. And then there's a little bingo and some Scrabble pieces, some puzzle pieces, keys, dominoes, that sort of stuff. So it's pretty random, kind of crazy, sort of junky. And I love that. And then each one I put 2 tags on each journal because I think I'm going to be taking these off and matching them up to the journals when I put these away and also when I ship them. So this is going to be separate from the journal, and I want to make sure that they don't get mismatched. Okay, so when you see the pictures on Etsy, the charm that you see on the book is the one you're going to get, obviously. So anyway, so that's why there's 2 tags. Okay. And then I wound up doing a ball chain clasp. I don't know, I kind of went back and forth about what to do with the closure, and I decided to just go with the ball chain. And I like it because, it fits perfect. If the journal gets much fatter than this, it won't really work unless you want to extend the ball chain. Or you could add another jump ring or something to just make it a little bit longer. So in case anybody's wondering, this is the Tim Holtz ball chain. Okay. And oh yeah, and because I was going to do an elastic closure on these, and then I just said, you know, I don't know, I didn't really like it, so I went with the ball chain. But I am going to send you an elastic hair tie, you know, just a black one or maybe a beige one. I think I have some of each to replace this with if that's what you decide to do. And you know, you could always add this to the front of the journal if you want, because this is actually a little book ring too, so it opens. So you could add your ball chain onto this and add charms and use the hair tie if you want, you know. And then I also gave you a little, about a yard or so of seam binding. So you could even tie a piece of seam binding on here and loop that around the, well, I'll talk about all that in a minute. Anyway, so inside, so we did the pockets, the policy envelope pockets. One of the first videos that I did in this series. So each one of them has magnet closure with a little tab, and I just added a little safety pin on there. It's one of those coilless ones, so they lay nice and flat inside. And then just some fabric trim and stuff. And then most of these just got a simple journaling card. I used a couple of Tracie Fox's kits in these digital kits in all of these journals. So you'll see these images kind of repeating throughout all of the journals. So there's some journaling cards. And then I just add, this is another one of her kits. I'm terrible at remember the names of them. But yeah, so then I just added little tags and tickets and stuff into these front pockets. So, and then I did wind up doing 5 tabs on each journal. I put a little eyelet on the top and bottom of each tab, and just added a little charm, some sort of little doodad on a bulb pen. And then just a little scrap of like sari silk or some kind of fabric or something like that, just to sort of pretty them up. This particular journal, I found my Tim Holtz like label stamp, and so I was just kind of playing around with that, and sort of in playing, after this journal was bound already, I decided, well, let's see how difficult it would be to add some of these into each journal. Yeah, it was a lot more work than I wanted to deal with. So I did not do that on each one. This one I did. Just happens that this is the one I picked to flip through. But I did add a couple of these into each of your little goodie bags that comes with the journal. So if you want to add these in to your journals, you can. I gave you a couple of them in just random colors. So yeah, and so then just, you know, random pages, book pages, some craft paper. This is a real lightweight craft paper, and some origami paper with some, there's like a field guide page stitched on. I save all of the flyleaf pages from the Reader's Digest, and then I used a couple in each journal. It's not necessarily the one that came out of this journal or out of this book, but you know, you get the idea. This is some French documents that I picked up a while ago, and I've scanned and just kind of printed out some of those. And I might be offering these in my shop at some point, digitals. And then I printed the kind of grungy grid paper on the backs. I have a ton of file folders, like that kind of like thick, heavy file folder, and I just love them. Like, I don't know, I just think they're awesome. So I wanted to start using some of those, and because I'm getting quite a pile of them. Anyway, so I just cut a whole bunch of them up, made them into just tags, and added an eyelet on the corner so you could add something onto it if you wanted to. Stamped a whole bunch of craft envelopes or bags, or with flat bags, and just attach those with my tape runner. And let's see, there's an envelope in the center of many of the signatures, not necessarily every one. And then these are just the little tags that I made on camera one night. I think it was on that same live stream, or might have been a different live stream. Just stitched some. This is fabric from a whole bunch of yo-yos, fabric yo-yos that someone gifted me. And so I took them apart, ironed them, and then just stitched them onto a piece of file folder that I punched out. Okay, so there's some nice little round tags. And then another book page stitched onto some heavy craft paper. And let's see. Okay, so that's all that signature. And I love how the origami paper sort of goes with the patterns of the Reader's Digest. I just think that looks cool. So here's another one of from Tracie's kit. Just glued it onto some craft paper and did some stitching around the edges and added a tab. This is the paper that came out of the bank box. It was like a storage box that they used at this bank, and these were the alphabet you know, sleeves so that they could keep all the letters separated. Anyway, so it's really old paper. It was like all of those letters and stuff were mostly dated like 1910, so this paper is pretty old and it's really nice. It's got a neat texture and you can see like the like fibers and stuff in it. Anyways, and then just some scrapbook paper. This is a flyleaf from another book. I always save those. Any blank pages that I find in other books that I take apart, I always save those blank pages. So this is from a bank ledger. Just folded that up. The other side of the, you know, this is one of the tags that we made together with the prescription book pages. And then I had a couple of little, just little address books and stuff that had this little calendar on the on one of the pages. So I just printed off a bunch of those and stitched them onto cardstock. Some more stamping. I had fun one night. I just kind of sat up. Oh, there's a little piece of something, paper. I just set out all these stamps and then all my stamp pads and everything I wanted to stamp one night, and I just went crazy. Another collage tag. This is from another address book. I left the little spiral bound evidence on there. This is pages from a horticulture magazine. Some more paper from the bank box. This is just a botanical book. Different ledger. More origami paper. Some music paper. This is actually like a Beethoven or something. Some more of the journaling cards from Tracie's kit, and then just, you know, just little pieces of collage and stuff like that. So yeah, so see, I added another one of those little labels on there, and then some of the journaling cards I printed on craft paper. So the entomology one looks really good printed on craft paper. I think it's a little darker, so it comes out better than the botanical one. But anyway, yeah. So yeah, flipping through. Used just a whole bunch of random fabric scraps and stuff, all vintage fabrics, and a lot of those were gifted to me from a very sweet person that lives on the East Coast. Thank you, Bridget. Yeah, this is some really neat sari silk that I've had in my stash, and it was actually like I couldn't find it for a long time, but it's sort of like a chiffon. It's really super lightweight, really thin, real flowy, super vintagey looking. I mean, it is vintage, but you know, I don't know, I just love it. I wish I could find more of it. She only had one roll, or one skein, I meant. Another ledger, scrapbook paper, some grid paper. This is like engineering paper, you know. More origami, some onion skin paper. This is a different bank ledger. It's another one of those divider pages. Butterfly book. This is some like stationery, some old stationery. This is another just simple little tag made out of a file folder. Actually, this wasn't a file folder. It was a picture frame is what it was. It was like one of those, like from a cabinet card or something, like an 8x10. And I had a whole bunch of them, so I made some tags out of those. Let's see. This is some more like cotton rag paper. It's that signature. And then these are actually French fry bags. I did some stamping on that one. This is an image from this German learning book that I have. And I've scanned a whole bunch of the pages, and I might be offering some of that also eventually digitally. Scrapbook, ledger, you know, it just goes on from there. This was another file folder. See, it's thick. It's really cool. I don't know. I just love it. I thought it would be cool if you wanted to put a picture on it or something. Another one of those labels. And I thought you could tuck something in there, you know, like a tag or something. This was like a children's book about trees. It's another one of those round tags in this pocket. Just couldn't bring myself to cut these, you know. This is a different stationery. It's really neat. It's got a cool texture. Like you can see the little lines in it. This is just some, you know, everyday grid paper. I did some tall tags and just folded the Tim Holtz paper in half and stitched it down to make a pocket. This was a book of like Wildflowers of America or something like that. I can't remember. I had someone ask me for the name of that book and I forgot to respond, but it's a little tag in a glassine bag there. And I was, I had to make some round pockets and tags inspired by Wendy and also Tracie. Both of them have done videos making these little round pockets, and I've just like wanted to make them for a long time. This is avocado dyed paper. Didn't come out real dark. This was like towards the end of the batch. This is yet another ledger. It's a flyleaf page. Stamped January 22nd, 1946. Someone was selling it for $6. I don't know. More book pages stitched on the origami. Just another little tag. I did some stamping on that one. This is another piece of stationery. It's really nice. Really cool texture. I like to try to mix up different textures and stuff in my journals, like, you know, so that you enjoy turning the pages and the sounds and the feeling of the paper and stuff. I don't know. I try to add a lot of variety there. So to me, my journals are about the paper more than anything. I've come to realize I'm not like, I'm not about, I used to be more about like embellishing the pages and stuff, but anymore I just have come to the point where it's like, for me, it's more about the paper, and that's what I really enjoy about making journals. So anyway, so that's one of the things. Anyway, so this one, I also really had fun coming up with names for these journals because I didn't want to just number them 1 through, you know, whatever. I wanted them to actually have names. And so I went on Google and I just searched up, first I searched flower girl names. And then I searched up like popular names from the 60s. And anyway, so that's how I find names for journals. And I try not to repeat them, even though I'm pretty sure I did a couple times. But I just chose names that I really liked, that I thought were pretty. And like if I had 18 daughters, maybe I would use those names. I don't know. Anyway, so this one is Abigail. And there's the back. Okay. Some of them I did add book corners if the corners were real soft or if they were kind of fraying and stuff or had been bent a little bit. Then I added book corners. Okay. So yeah, so this one happens to have book corners. So that's Abigail. Oh, and then let me show you real quick. Each journal is going to get a bag of goodies. Okay, so I mentioned that I'm adding a hair tie. Sounds silly to say, oh, I'll send you a hair tie, but you know. So anyway, so you get about a yard of seam binding, which is plenty to, you know, attach onto the back cover and then tie it onto the front, onto the hitch post. So you get it's just white. So you could dye it any color you wanted. Like, you know, just use any kind of ink and then a little bit of water, spray it on there, smush it around. And then I got these little like paper flags. I don't remember where they came from, but they were like in a box of stuff. So it's these cellulograph plastic signals. And I just thought they were really cool. So I added just like a couple of them. So they just go on like that. Like, and then they're kind of stiff, but that paper might be a little too thick. But yeah, so see, they just kind of clip onto the edge of the page. That's real thick cardstock, so that was a little difficult. Anyways, so I just added a couple of those because, you know, I had them. And then a hair tie. It's either going to be black or beige. And then these are actually vintage paper clips. I love these because they're kind of like, they're like matte. They're not like super shiny. And they just have like a neat, like old feeling. Okay, so some paper clips. And then I just added a couple of those little labels with the holes already punched because I was going to be adding them into all the journals. So I just punched all the holes, and then anyway, so they already have the holes. And then I added like a half a dozen extra tabs. Okay, so these are Tim Holtz papers, so you could use either side. But I just added a half a dozen just in case you wanted to have more tabs than the 5 that I put in each one. Okay, so if you want to like subcategorize or something like that, I don't know. But I did want to play around with charms and fabrics and stuff on the tabs, so that's why I just went ahead and made an executive decision and added 5 on each journal. And then I made a ton of these. So these are just little little cards, okay, made out of file folders, and there's just an eyelet in each one. So I thought these would be just, you know, fun for you to play with. And some of them I did some stamping. Most of them I didn't, but some I did. And ball chain fits through this size eyelet. So if you wanted to string these onto some ball chain, I thought that would be kind of cool. I did actually do that in a couple of these packs. The tags are already strung together on ball chain. So you get a little bundle of those. I think each one got like 6 or 7. Some got 6, some got 7. And then some of those little vellum note cards that came in that haul that I showed a couple weeks ago. Another one of those images from the German book. This was an image that also came in that haul. It was a stamp that I got, and I thought that was kind of cool. So I stamped a bunch of those on some file folder. Just some botanical images. Some of them I folded into envelopes. Some other ephemera stuff that you can, you know, journal on. This is a divider. And then one of these oversized tags. These did not fit into any of the pockets in the journals. I intended to put these in the journals, but they don't fit in any of the pockets. So I thought, well, you know what? It could be like a writing board or something like that, even though it has stitching on it. You know, whatever. You can use it for something. So those, yeah, so there's one of those little packs with each journal. Okay. So it's a nice little bundle of stuff. Okay, and then this is, who is this? This is Amelia. And I love this cover. It's at this really pretty metallic kind of, you know, paint or whatever. Stitching on the outside. Here's the charm. This video is going to take forever. I love this little tiny domino. If anybody has any of these little tiny dominoes and you want to sell them or something, I'll buy them from you. Seriously. Or wooden like game pieces like this, like the little guys, any of those little wooden pieces like that. I would love some more of those. Just saying, just putting it out there. So yeah, so this is Amelia. And so what I'll do with each one is I'll just open it like that. So you can just kind of see and then show you the back. Okay. Because these are pretty easy to open and close with the ball chain. Okay. And then this is Jasmine. And here's the charm on Jasmine. I use some of those Tim Holtz little charms, you know. Puzzle piece, South Carolina on this one. So this is Jasmine. There's the inside front and the back. Okay. This one has the stitching on the inside because the spine was in really good shape. So, all right. And this one, this is the one that I was actually kind of demonstrating on when I was doing some other stuff on a video. So this one actually has a ball chain through the eyelet there. But this is Sicily. Yeah, Sicily. I always like that name for some reason. And this one is stitched on the inside, knotting on the inside. And then I did that seam binding on this one as a closure. I don't know. I just did because. And then there's the inside front and the back. Okay. So I'm trying to decide. I think what I might do is publish this video and then actually activate the listings at like, I don't know, I'll tell you what time at the end. I have to see how long this video is and how long it takes to upload, but I'm going to do it tonight, but I think it's going to be like, oh, it's like 3:30 right now, my time. So I'm thinking at like 8 o'clock p.m. Pacific time is when I'll publish the listings. Okay, so this is Lucienne. I thought that's such a pretty name, Lucienne. If I was French, boy, it would sound really pretty. There's a few other ones that have kind of French names. And then I did the stitching on the outside on this one. This one is probably, I don't know. I say it's my favorite, but it's one of my favorites. I love this cover. So there's the inside. I love this paper right here. This is end paper from a really old book. I think it might have been one of the Shakespeare books. I can't remember. Anyway, so that's Lucienne. And then this is Sunshine. Of course. I just thought, you know, it's orange and teal and, you know, I used to have a cat named Sunshine. So there's a little pretty dice on there and little owl charm, a little orange faceted plastic bead. Yeah, so there's that one. And I used a lot of sari silk on the pages on these, or on this one. Okay, so there's the inside and the back cover. There's the back cover. And then this is Natasha. Okay, here's the charm. It's very charming. Has another owl, one of those funny weird keys. Each one of these charms has a key on it, an old like brass key. Okay, there's the front and then the back. Okay, so this is Natasha. And the color is actually coming through pretty well on camera. So I think you guys are going to see the color pretty accurately. There's a little bit of glare from this stupid light, but sorry about that, you guys. Anyways, I have an issue with lighting. Hopefully after I move, I'll have better lighting. So this is Hope, and you can see the charm. I did add some of my little postage stamp charms on these. Some of them. And there's the back cover. Love this color. It's such a pretty peach color. Oh, big reach. Okay. And this is, oh, Marisol. Marisol. I thought that was such a cool name. There's the spine and the charm. It's charming. Little Monopoly house. I'm just loving these game pieces. I don't know. Super cool. This one has book corners. There's the inside and the back cover. This one I wound up, I just added this little, this is from a wooden spool of thread I scanned and printed out. Okay, so that's Marisol. And then, oh God. Sorry, guys. This is Serafina. It's one of my other favorite names. There's the charm. Look at Alabama. Little stamp and domino. Okay, there's the spine. 1955, this book. This is one of my favorite covers. One of my favorite Reader's Digest covers. I've used it a couple times before. I love this paper. I just think it's so pretty. I think it's just great to make tags out of or whatever. You could even do like collaging on that paper and it would be awesome. So there's another, see, this has a tag in the back pocket too with the magnet. Okay. So that's Serafina. It's a girl that does felting that I really like to watch. Her name is Serafina. Shouldn't spell it that way, but okay, so this is Jasmine. And Jasmine has South Carolina. They don't all have a state on them, but I don't know. This one does. Mostly I was just looking at the colors. And then a little stamp. And I love these clear tiles. And I put a silver key on this one because I thought it looked better. Has like a gear, some kind of little gear and a domino or a dice. There's the inside and the back. Okay. So that's Jasmine. And then this one is Hannah. So she's got this big blue dice and then an orange postage stamp because I think blue and orange look cool together. Anyways, and then this red. There's another owl. The little Tim Holtz thing says inspire, and then this old rusty key. Okay, so here's the inside. And then there's the back inside. I love Reader's Digest. They're just such a cool size. Okay, so this one is actually already spoken for, but I'm going to show you anyways. So this one is Violet, and I just love her. I think she's so pretty, and I like the little, there's little frogs on this dice. I don't know what those are all about. There's a little butterfly, and then the feed sack on the spine, stitching on the outside, and happens to have the number 7 there, and then a little bingo. So there's the inside front and the back inside. Okay. All right, so that's Violet. And then the next 3 were all in a set. Oh, well, it was like, yeah, 1954 winter selections. I think this one was also, it was like, I'm missing one, but there was like, you know, spring, summer, fall, and winter. Okay. So I don't know. I just think they're so pretty. These are probably the most, I don't know, Well, the texture, the covers are kind of textured, so that's what's kind of cool too. And then look, it has like a pine cone sort of motif on it. So this one is Clementine. Wish I had that other one. So there's the inside front and inside back and the back. And this one, these all have, oh, actually, no, they don't. Only 2 of them needed book corners. So, and it was a good thing because I ran out of book corners, that not all of these needed book corners. I would have had to wait for more or use this other kind that I don't like as much. So this is Daphne. Okay. It's funny. Her spine was messed up, but her corners were fine. I guess there's a little bit of fraying on this corner, but it's not anything major. So this is Daphne. And there's the inside back. Okay, and then this one is, oh, Marielle. Wait, did I use the same name twice? Oh, no, Marisol. That's right. Marielle. Okay. Did I? I almost think I did. No, it was Lucienne. Okay. I knew there was C as the French name that just kind of threw me off. Okay, so this one has a little bird for Nevada. And it's just kind of, I don't know, kind of quirky little stuff on there. And there's the inside front and the inside back. And I don't take all the tags out of all the pockets and stuff when I do the pictures and stuff. So a lot of, you know, the inside of the journal is kind of a surprise, I guess. You know, but it's all, if you've watched any of the videos of making this series, then you've seen a lot of it already. So this is Willow, and she's got some cool funky charms. I use this Mahjong tile, the Joker. I love Mahjong tiles. I think they're so cool. And then a little bingo. And then I did one of the paperclip charms, and then added a boggle dice on the bottom. This is poker chip, little key, and then a stamp. And then this one I did use seam binding as the closure, just because I think I ran out of hitch posts, to be honest. But I have this really cool old gray seam binding. And I don't know, I just really like it. It's like folded, like bias tape. It's actually bias tape is what it is. So I don't know, I just love it. Anyway, so there's the front inside and the front back, or excuse me, the front back, the inside back. Oh my God. I've decided that it's hard for me to just like talk for 30 minutes anymore. All right, so that is, who did I say? Oh, Willow. Okay. And then since I actually, you know, had made so many signatures, I prepped a ton of paper for these journals, you guys. Way more than I needed. But that's okay, because guess what? I had more Reader's Digests. And so so I did some of the smaller ones. Okay. So these are the little skinny Reader's Digests. All right. And they just, I don't know, they were just screaming at me to make them into books. And so I just kind of went a little bit crazy with the fabrics on the spines on these. I just wanted to put fabric on all the spines, and I had all this really yummy feed sack. So I just kind of went random with them. Like I didn't even really try to match them up too much. Like I think I had matched to my satisfaction, these two. And then after that, it was like, I couldn't find fabrics that matched really well. So I just went, well, why do they have to match, you know? Anyway, so I wound up making 6 of these. These are the little skinny Reader's Digest, okay? But the term is the same size. Actually, this one looks a little bigger. So this one is Julienne. And I didn't have enough of that same pocket, but I did have some that I had made before. So I wound up just using one of those. I added the magnets in these. So that has a little magnet where there's the little calendar. So these only have 2 signatures. Okay. And I did not put tabs in them, but I did include, you do get one of the little goodie bags with these too. So you get the 6 little tabs that you could add in if you want. There's a little round pocket and tags. So it's basically all the same stuff, you know, since I just made a whole bunch of, you know, signatures, and then just grabbed a couple and put them in each one of these journals. I actually added some pages to the signatures before I stitched these together though, because I didn't feel like they had enough to fill it out. So each signature got a few extra pages, like 5 or so. I think I added like 10 extra pages total. Okay. So these have 2 signatures stitched on the inside, and with the ball chain. Everything else is pretty much the same, except for I didn't do the tabs, and they're a little bit thinner. Okay. So that's Julienne. And then this is Lillian. And here's the charm on Lillian. I love these. This is like I don't remember what that's from. Some store I went to. Yeah, just, you know, just randomness. I love this little bird. So that's Lillian. And she's got the pocket like that. I guess I better just put it down with the magnet. And then the inside backs, I didn't do anything. So you could add a pocket and stuff in there if you wanted to. I was just plain and simple. I was out of pockets. Like, I don't think I had any more. Okay, so this is Angelina. And so she's got one of the pockets like we made together in the policy envelopes. So yeah, so I added this page into these ones. There's a couple others that are different that I don't think yeah, that one is from another planner. It's like a garden planner. So anyways, yeah, it doesn't have a pocket on the back, but there's the little calendar page. Okay, so this is Angelina, right? Yeah. Whoops. Okay, and then this is Yvonne, and Yvonne has the state of Illinois, and a nice brass key and a domino, the number sign. So yeah, just totally random fabric and patterning. So here's the inside front, and then I love that where it says blooming guide. I thought that was really cool. But that was actually a little bit wider. Kind of sticks out. Oh, this is another page that I added into these that is not in the larger ones. Let me show you. It's from a little date book. Hold on, where is it? Ugh. It's really cool. It's this little like 5-year diary. I know I saw it in here. There, this one. I know, it's like really exciting, huh? Anyway, so I love that book though. It's cool, and it was all blank. But anyway, so that one, these got a couple pages from that. So, okay, so this is Yvonne. And then I have 2 purple ones. Okay, so this is Peony. I know I used that name before in a different journal, but that's okay. So this one has the big maple leaf and the orange stamp. And there's a domino, and then the and sign, the and symbol, ampersand. Okay, so here's the inside front. A little bit of the inside of the journal, and then the back. Okay, so this is peony, and then this is indigo, and that came from the flower names list. Anyway, so she has a purple owl, and then this is actually a blue poker chip. It's not purple. It might look purple on the camera, but, and then, you know, little charms. There's a little bee. And then here's the inside front. And a little bit of the journal inside. Okay, so 2 signatures in these. And they are priced accordingly. All right. And then, oh my God, I'm insane. Then I had this set. These are a teenage, whoa, sorry about that, you guys. Oh my God, sorry. These were like a teenage set of Reader's Digest. They came in a box, like a box set. Excuse me, I needed a sip of coffee. Anyway, so there's 4 in the set. So I was like, okay, well, I still have signatures, so I'm going to make more. So I wound up doing these 4 also. And these ones are just a single signature. I added about 20 more pages to these. So these ones are, you know, they're smaller, but they have all the same stuff. Whoops. There's a little tea card that fell out of somewhere. Okay, so there's the inside front pocket. And then, you know, lots of the same papers. Okay, and then each one has an envelope in the center with one of those little round tags. And then, of course, pocket. And then tags in all the pockets. So I didn't leave any pockets empty. And then I ran out of round tags, so I just used the round pockets and then just added some random little tags, okay, into each one of those. So these have a pocket in the front and the back. Oh, so this one is, who did I say this is? Did I tell you? Heather. Okay, I have a cousin named Heather. Hi, Heather. So this one's Heather. And then this is Genevieve. I thought that was a cool name. So Genevieve, here's the charms. Okay, with the feed sack fabric again. And then here's the inside. Tags. This is kind of a tall tag, so I didn't want the fabric getting bent over, so I put it in kind of sideways. Yep. There's another little circle pocket. And little tags and stuff in the pocket in the back. Okay, so this is Genevieve. And, oh my God, 48 minutes. This is Carmela. There was a girl on the school bus when I was a little kid. Her name, this girl that was in high school, she was a high schooler, and I was like 1st grade. And her name was Carmel, and she was so pretty. It was like, I think I actually had a little bit of a crush on her, because, I mean, she would get on the bus, and I would just, like, stare at her, because I always thought she was so pretty. And I always said, if I ever have a daughter, I'm naming her Carmel. I hope she's as pretty as Carmel. Anyways, I always think about that. If I ever ran into her again in life, I would love to tell her that, you know, because at this age, she's probably almost 60. So I'm sure she would just be like, really? Anyways, so here's the term dangle on Carmela. And yeah, nice kind of blue and teal. And then here's the inside. Okay, the tall tag and the round pocket on the back. wonder if she watches my videos. Probably not. She's too good for my videos. I'm just kidding. Okay, so this is Pamela. And Pamela has the state of California and the state bird, I guess. So it had this, apparently Eloise's mom gave her this set for Christmas. And I don't remember the year, but I know it was like the early 60s. So I think it was like 1963 maybe that this set came out. So I left the tag in there that the gift inscription. And yeah, so I just wanted to make sure that that stayed with the book. Anyway, so yeah, so this is what I've done, you guys. 26 Reader's Digest journals. Crazy, huh? So yeah, so these will be free. Well, okay, I know I hate saying free, but shipping included on these. And they will, I'm pretty sure, I think I'll just go ahead and do them all priority mail, even though I think these small ones would probably be able to go first class. I'll go ahead and ship them all priority, and that makes it easier for me anyways. So yeah, so I will go ahead, get this video uploaded. It's been going pretty quick lately, so hopefully by the time I get it uploaded, it should be about 5 p.m. my time. And that's Pacific Standard Time. So I will click publish at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I'm just going to do this time because I just want to see how it works. I don't normally do that, but I wanted to try doing that at least once just to see if it makes certain people happy. Okay. And I know that's not a whole lot of advance notice, but you know, yeah, that's what I'm doing. Because I got to get these listed and I got to get them out of here. So I love them, but I really got to get them out of here. I'm trying to move. And I have a project that I'm working on. So I might be actually posting another video later on tonight. So anyways, okay, guys, I love you. Bye for now.